Let's see if I remember how to do this. Well, good morning from Nottingham in the I can't. And welcome to Nottinghamshire. It's a beautiful, sunny but very cold morning. -2 degrees. Bit of a, wrapped up kind of situation. My hair's obviously looks like I've had a hat on it, because I have, and I've got a bald patch, so I've been trying to keep warm whilst finding a location to actually do some filming. Now, firstly, apologies for not uploading a video in a long while. I've simply been so busy, lots and lots of work on, 12 hours plus per day, lots of travelling, an awful lot on my plate. I've got different business expansions going on. I'm just about to move home. We're currently sticking a new kitchen and bathroom in the new place, decorating right through, carpets, you name it. So hopefully just after Christmas we'll be moving into a much larger place. Looking forward to that, looking forward to Christmas. Been on plenty of vacations, had a beautiful week in Menorca, a week in Milan. I've just been up to the Isle of Lismore working long hours, actually living with vegans for a week, and I didn't know there were vegans until I got there, and I've got to be honest, they were very, very nice people. They didn't give me a hard time, they didn't lecture me, they didn't turn the nose up at the food I was cooking, and they didn't put any restrictions on me. At first I felt a little bit uneasy about getting the bacon out and frying that in the morning, because obviously it was filling the whole household full of the beautiful aroma of smoked bacon. But you know what? I got no complaints whatsoever. I didn't lecture them, they didn't lecture me. They didn't look like the cast of The Walking Dead. They actually looked quite healthy. They were happy. They weren't preachy. They weren't burning incense and stuff like that. They were just normal people who must have been ethical vegans. They certainly didn't convert me to veganism, that is for sure. I'm more than happy with my animal proteins and animal fats. I feel great on it, I feel alive on it, and I feel very strong and mentally positive on this carnivorous diet. Now, that being said, I have actually added in vegetables back into my diet. And I'd mentioned this probably a month or two ago on one of my community posts on YouTube, that I was going to experiment with adding a few vegetables back into me carnivorous way of life. And what I decided to do was keep the same amount of meat, the same amount of animal protein in my diet, so 33% of all my calories come from animal proteins, but reduce my fat amount from 66% calories down to 33% calories, and then make that shortfall in calories, make that up with good quality organic vegetables. And what I've done is, obviously over the last couple of months, I've just been testing what vegetables work for my body, which ones make me feel fit and strong, fit and agile, give me loads of energy, and which ones make me feel ill or bloated or just generally run down. So I've been striking a few off, adding a few in. I've not added any grains, so no oats, no barleys, no corn, no rice, no pasta, no bread, nothing like that. It's simply just good quality vegetables, things like onions, garlic, ginger. I do have peppers. I know people are obviously going to be spitting the dummy out about this, about oxalates and phytates and tannins and things like that. But I've got to be honest, I feel better having a few vegetables with the quality fat and the quality protein. On the last video I had a stinking cold, and because I've got a history of having pneumonia and pleurisy, when I get a cold it always goes straight to my chest. And after about 6 weeks of having this really serious cold, very congested, always out of breath, I started having the vegetables, and within a couple of weeks, whether it's coincidence or what, I just felt a lot better, got rid of the cold, felt great. So I think the key is, for me, as long as it's good quality vegetables rather than the mass-produced junk of, you know, the grains, the flours, all that kind of stuff, all the force bred fruit, I'm all right. I do have a little bit of fruit first thing in the morning. I just have frozen berries, and I warm them up a little bit, mix it in with my homemade Greek yogurt, nice and live, you know. It's tastes fabulous. But that's the only real fruit I have. The rest of it's all just things like, you know, as I mentioned, onions, garlic, things like that, tomatoes. I have quite a lot of chopped tomatoes. And the reason for all these like tweaks to my diet, I suppose, is one, to make sure that I am getting plenty of nutrition, just tweaking my diet just to see how far I can push things to feel even better. And because after 8 months of eating nothing but meat and fat, I kind of got a little bit bored of it, for want of a better word. I'm not saying for a second that the carnivore diet doesn't work. I'm not saying for a second that the carnivore diet doesn't make you feel amazing, because it does. You feel great on it, you feel strong on it, you feel mentally very clear on it. It helps you lose weight. It makes you feel good about yourself. But it can be a bit limiting, especially the way some of you guys want to be doing it. The amount of comments I get saying you can only eat beef and butter and salt and water and that's it. Now that, to me, whilst it would be tasty and entertaining for a week or so, I couldn't live with that kind of restriction. My body would be craving everything else on the planet. Hence why I've added a few vegetables into my diet, primarily added is like an accompaniment to me proteins and my fats. And I find I'm not desperate for, you know, junk carbohydrates. I'm not desperate for cookies and crisps and chips and, you know, all those things which made me fat in the first place. The only fat I have is animal fat, either as, you know, the fat which comes with the protein, or the fat from, like, you know, things like lard and butter and things like that. I just obviously now make sauces with vegetables, or have just salads. Do I prefer it? If I'm honest, I do prefer this way of eating. It's just got more flavour. I like to eat. I like the taste of food. So I like to eat, I like to cook, and having all these extra ingredients available to me, which I know aren't making me any fatter. I'm no heavier than when I was on strict carnivore. It just gives me a greater repertoire. It just opens up possibilities. So at the moment, I say I'm probably hitting 25 to 30% of my calories coming from vegetables. I know I'm not in ketosis. I don't feel any worse for it. If anything, I've got more energy. I'm certainly performing better in the gym, performing better through my working day, just having, you know, a few carbohydrates. And if anything, I'm getting leaner because I've got less fat going into my system. I'm just getting stronger and leaner, and hopefully by summer next year I'll be a little bit more buff, which is always a good thing when you get to my age. So, you know what, I don't think it's that bad a choice for me. Now, I've not gone off the rails. I've not been eating, you know, all the junk foods. I've been really quite good. Now, one of the other reasons for trying a few vegetables in my diet was simply because I got sick and tired of all the negativity and, you know, crap comments I was getting because I ate a more flexible carnivore diet, because I saw scope to add things like chicken, and prawn and fish and lamb and pork to my diet rather than just eating beef, water and salt. And the amount of stupid comments I get from fellow carnivores really frustrate me. I can see why vegans do call us carnitards. Now, I'd like to think I'm quite a smart guy and that I know how my body should feel and when I feel better and when I don't. So when I get somebody who's probably not as well, not as fit and not as healthy as what I am, giving me advice, kind of think, you know, well, who are you to judge me? You know, I've lost my weight, I'm feeling really great doing what I'm doing. So I think comments like that and that kind of mentalities pretty much push me away from mainstream carnivory. The carnivore channels, I've largely stopped watching them, to be honest. Not because I dislike the actual content creators, not at all. It's just the negativity which is surrounding their channels and the comments and the audience they're appealing to. This constant dick measuring, one-upmanship between carnivory and veganism. For me, it's just like a waste of time, a waste of space. It's negative. It's like a vacuum just sucking all the positivity out of life. So I just wish these carnivore channels would switch the message a little bit, be a bit more positive, think about helping other people. And whilst I'm not a big fan of veganism, as I've said, everyone's got the right to choose what they want to do. I don't believe in all the propaganda that vegans put out there and the pressure groups and the protests and stuff like that. I think that's, well, just nonsense, because largely you're just turning people away. I guarantee you ain't converting many people by berating them and showing them pictures of, you know, the horrible things which happen to animals. And I oppose the way that animals are treated in certain countries. I don't like the idea of feedlots, battery farming, battery hens, animals which are fed a diet which isn't appropriate to them. I'm completely against it. You know what? And I think there is scope for carnivores and vegans to protest together against these kind of farming and animal raising practices. I really do. There is common ground there. I mean, obviously we'll never see eye to eye, but I think we both want our animals to grow up well treated, be fed the right food, and at the time of death for it to happen that quickly that they don't know that it's going to happen. And before people say, oh, that's not possible, believe me, after being in the military, it's possible. Things die without knowing it very quickly. You get taught that very soon on. So there is ways of making things more humane. Fortunately, in Britain, we are a lot more humane than other countries who have certain practices for, you know, killing their pigs and lambs especially. Yeah, we tend to be a little bit nicer. Not perfect, not by any stretch of the imagination. There is great scope for improvement, but we certainly do things a lot better than what I've seen in America. We don't have feedlots and things like that. We don't pump things full of hormones, basically steroids. We don't do that. So no one's perfect, but there's scope for improvement. What other things do I not like about carnivore? One of the other things I really don't like about carnivore, and I've mentioned this a few times, both in my videos and the community posts, is all this garbage information which is out there about you can eat as much meat and fat as you like, how it doesn't really matter. You can just chow down on loads of ribeyes, loads of thick fat, add extra fat to your diet, everything's great. And one of the things which tickles me the most is people who are obese need more fat. That's not right. That don't work. I know ketogenesis and keto diets do work, but if you're morbidly obese and you've got 40+% body fat on you, which you should be checking out by the way, the last thing you want to do is add more fat into your diet. You want to be using the fat which is strapped to your body and eat protein, less fat. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I've even had a comment that I'm a bodybuilder, I can eat as much meat as I like because I'm a bodybuilder. That's not true. I know you probably wish it was true, but it ain't true. And if you are a serious bodybuilder, you'd know that a carnivorous diet ain't optimal for building your muscles up. You know, that's basic nutrition, that's basic physiology. You would know that you need some, carbohydrates in there to fill your muscles full of glycogen to get you pump. So, yeah, I get a load of stupid comments, unfortunately. And I suppose the other thing which really gets me about carnivory and the carnivore channels on YouTube, there's a load of fake carnivores, loads of them, and you can see them. That, you know, when you've been on a carnivore diet for quite a while, you can see how certain people are basically pretending to be on a carnivore diet when they're not. When you see them first thing in the morning and they're talking to you while making coffee and they've got a great big fat moon face and bags under their eyes, that's not carnivore face. Carnivore face is usually really quite lean and tight and doesn't have loads of bags under your eyes. They're basically eating carbs and having too much salt in the diet. I know you need salt in your diet, but if you're getting great big, baggy eyes and loads of water retention, you got a little bit too much salt in your diet. Rein it back a little bit. You know, people having to make up new and exciting terms for the carnivore diet. The beef and butter fast, carnivore hard, and then what's the other one? Carnivore hard 75. Rah! Why? It's just a carnivorous diet. You eat meat and eat fat. Why is it got to have some kind of fancy label on it? Why have you got to put 30-day challenge? Just relax. Eat good quality food, not a problem. So these kind of things, they do get on my tits, to be honest. But yeah, there's a load of nonsense information on YouTube about carnivorous way of life and the right way to do it and stuff like that. I'd made a post on the community about my top tips for losing weight based on my experiences and how I've helped other people. And the number one thing is track your body fat percentage, not your total weight. Because if you're, say, 300 pounds in weight and 15% body fat, there ain't nothing wrong with you. You're just massively muscular. You know, you're a superhuman. But if you're 300 pounds of weight and 50% body fat, then you've got a problem. So surely you want to be tracking the negative aspect of your health as it improves. So as it gets to 44%, to 40%, to 35%, to 30%, rather than tracking total weight, because total weight would include things like lean body mass, made up of, muscle tissue, water, connective tissue. It's made up of multiple things, total weight is. But the thing is, you need muscle mass, you need connective tissue, you need organ size, you need all that kind of stuff. You need quite a bit of water in your body. So why tracking that? It's almost as dumb as rapid weight loss. Rapid weight loss is probably the dumbest thing going. Why? Because it's all pretty much water you're getting rid of, and the lean muscle, the thing that's actually going to burn off your calories. You're just pissing it away because you're losing too much weight too quickly by lowering your calories too far. You might think you're burning a lot of fat, but in reality you're not. You're burning some fat, but a lot of it is lean mass that you're shedding. And an example of this is, look at when people go on these extended, water fasts. They'll lose tons and tons of weight, but they all look the same, like a chewed up toffee, like a Sharpay, where the rolls of skin and stuff like that, because they've lost the weight too quickly. Slow it down, eat sensibly, learn about portion control, eat good quality food, and your body will shrink wrap around you as you lose weight. lose weight too fast. Skin can't keep up. Ugh. You look like you've been poured out of a bloody jelly mould too early. Then how do you deal with that? Then you've got another form of stigma. And I feel sorry for these people because they're misled into thinking rapid weight loss is a great thing, that it's an achievement. No, it ain't. I mean, if it takes 20 years of overeating crap food, going to, you know, fast food places and takeout and getting crap in a box, it's obviously going to take you a few years to safely and healthily get rid of the weight. Nothing happens overnight. If you're that stressed out about it taking, say, 5 years to get to a healthy weight, you should have thought about that before you spent 2 decades putting the weight on. So take your time to lose weight. Lose weight healthily. Fixate and analyse your body fat percentage, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat. Work it out. You can get people to do skin fold tests on you. You can get scales. I like the Omron ones. You can go and get DEXA scans, body pod things. None of them are 100% accurate. That's very, very true. But it gives you something positive to aim towards. It's a bit like having a pair of motivational pants. I have motivational jeans. Jeans that used to be tight on me, and now I can literally put those jeans on, stick my arms in, swirl them around, and every time I feel low, I stick those jeans on and feel friggin' amazing. Because I've achieved it. I've beat the odds. People fat shamed me, and you know what, instead of getting all butt hurt about being fat shamed, I turned it around to a positive and used it like in The Waterboy, tackling fuel, and just thought, I'm going to do it. Why not? I can do it. I've just got to plan out what I'm going to do, keep on going, and my body will adapt and overcome. And now I'm actually fitter and healthier than all those haters were. So whilst I think fat shaming is a pretty shit thing to do to people, it can actually work to give people the impetus to change. Because if people think they can be healthy at any size, when in reality you can't, sometimes people need a bit of a prod. Now, when I was living with these vegans for a week, one of them mentioned that their daughter was morbidly obese, and they said, we don't know how to approach the subject. And I was quite blunt and said, look, you've just got to tell them that they're unwell and they need to help themselves and get help where required. Otherwise, they ain't going to be on the planet very long. They're certainly not going to see old age. Bearing in mind how heavy she said they were. Anyway guys, this is coming to the end of my walk. I've now got to do a little bit of work. So I wish you all the very best. I hope I've not triggered you far too much. I hope you're all living a good, healthy, carnivorous lifestyle, that you're feeling great about yourself, that you're helping other people, and you're just generally being kind and understanding towards other people. Positivity is what you make it. If you go through life helping other people, invariably you'll find you live a better, happier life. So I wish you all the best, and until the next time, take care of yourselves. Bye. Right, let's see if I can remember how to do this, because obviously losing my marbles a little bit. Let's see if we can remember how to do it, because it's such a long time since I've made a video. I'm not used to talking to a camera anymore, especially one where I can't see myself. So let's see if I can achieve something. This area, this used to be private land that you never used to be able to come and have a look at. And I'm 48 years old now, so when I was about 14, I used to live in a village which is about 5 miles away, and we used to sneak into this area and come into the private fishing grounds, private hunting grounds, pinch, you know, obviously do some fishing and pinch partridges and things like that. The kind of things country bumpkins like me used to do when we were kids. But